backtrack a few days. Rob actually sent me an apology. I had called him out during the last tribal council, and I called him rude for not, speaking to me, and, he actually sent me this long paragraph. So then Rob and I actually had a chat, and, he was actually a pleasant human being. He told me that, if he's either going to get voted out this vote or the vote after that, and that he wanted to stir up a little chaos. And so who doesn't love a little bit of chaos? So when Rob had posted his videos in the Discord, I messaged him and I was like, oh, funny videos, haha, like, how can I help fuel this fire? And he told me to send a video out, like, dissing him. And, honestly, I was like, win-win situation. Like, he wants me to do it, and, like, my alliance, like, I think that they would find it a positive thing, too. I told him, if you want to stir up a little trouble, make some noise, like, I'm happy to help, create a little chaos, too.
You've made the final 5. This is no small feat. You should be very proud of yourselves. Let's get to today's individual immunity challenge that will guarantee you a shot at making final tribal. Here's what's going to happen. You were asked to bring today a spoon and a deck of cards. Here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a balance/endurance challenge. Using the back of your spoon, you will take your loose deck of cards and, holding it out with a straight arm, balance the cards on the back of the spoon, like so. First person or last person standing with their deck of cards still on their spoon wins individual immunity, guarantees their spot in the final 4. Losers, someone will be the 9th person voted out of this game. I'm going to give you all a 30-second countdown to get situated. If your cards fall in this 30 seconds, it doesn't count. But by the end of this 30 seconds, you'll need to be situated. Timer starts now.
Can I play 52 card pickup before we start that timer, Jeff?
Sure, not a problem. Everyone can rest. You're fine. Jenny, you can put your cards down. You don't need to. Or you can stay there if you really want. Here we go. I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown to get your cards situated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This challenge is on. Hands off the cards. You're good. Trevor's already out. Trevor is out of the challenge. Laura, Jenny, Audrey, and Rob are holding steady. We could be here a while. Audrey's fall, she held out for a pretty good amount of time there. We're down to Laura, Jenny, and Rob. All 3 looking very steady. A little bit of movement from Jenny, but she's looking okay. Rob, a little bit of shake, but doing okay. Laura's looking steady. This is the kind of challenge where it could go a while, and with a blink of an eye, you could be out. Everybody's holding strong. Everybody seems locked in. And Laura, just like that, out of nowhere falls. It's down to Jenny and Rob, two players who have gone at it for a lot of this season, really since the merge. And it comes down to a showdown. And Jenny's fall, and just like that, out of nowhere, Rob wins individual immunity. He is safe from the vote. It took a long time for him to win his first individual immunity challenge, but it couldn't come at a better time. Rob is immune.
Should have voted me out when you had the chance.
And not missing an opportunity to rub it in. Rob will be immune from the vote. He has a guaranteed spot at Final Four. For Jenny, Trevor, Laura, and Audrey, the alliance is going to have to fracture somehow. Grab your torches, head back to camp. Good night.
Final 5. I'm super excited. And, you know, on top of kind of how things went today, I still have my idol. So I'm guaranteed Final 4. If I won the immunity challenge, I think my alliance would be like, all right, easy answer. We're going to go for Rob. And so I don't have to betray my alliance because my hand is forced. Typically, I would do anything to win. Like, come on, losing's not an option. But in this case, I think it was actually easier for me because I was like, all right, you know, I'm going to still try to win. But, like, if I lose, like, it's actually better.
And thus ends the Dunn
Dynasty.
The Dunns. We're out. Well, one of us will be.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty furious, like, but only because of my own performance there. Like, just didn't even get a chance to get my, you know, get off the ground.
It was a bummer. I think Levi would have done just as well, if not better, than Rob. So, honestly...
Still the right call.
Still the right call. Yeah, I think it was.
Levi ended up going home, and I was trying to be as upfront with Rob as I could because I knew that he felt really, like, betrayed and hurt from the people that he did put his trust in before, because he was always left out of the plan. And I told him straight up, I was like, you know, I still think that we should work together. I don't think we can save Levi this vote, but, like, I don't think anyone would expect the two of us to be working together, given our history. I have formed a better relationship with Rob, one that, like, you know, if he does go to the jury, I think Rob would be able to see that, like, I've been playing this game really hard too, and I've been willing to work with him. So, you know, I think if Rob is a messenger, I want him to be saying good things about me and not bad.
You know, it sucks because we both know that Jenny has an idol and Audrey has an idol, so it is going to be one of the two of us.
Yeah.
This game.
Yeah, it really sucks. I think the worst part is seeing Rob happy.
We have to vote out one of our own, and it's, since Jenny and myself have hidden immunity idols and we're both playing them, it means it's down to Laura and Trevor. Laura originally wanted to kind of self-evict to let Trevor go forward, but apparently now she's changed her tune, which thank goodness. I think because Jenny and I both just want to get out Trevor just so that dialogue's not being spread anymore.
I'm sorry, Trevor. We've been, like, OG Goda friends since day one, but I think you've played a really amazing game, and I would prefer not to go to the end with you. He would take some of the Godo votes away from me, so I'd rather go with two people from Book Hall.
It would be nice to have Trevor in some regards to help beat Rob in the Final Four, but at the same time, that would be, you know, another notch on his belt for winning.
It's gonna be me or Laura. And at the end of the day, we knew all four of us couldn't go to the end, and whoever goes gets to tell everyone else's story. Although it really sucks. It really sucks. This is not something that you approach just being jaded. We worked really hard to get here. Laura and I both worked really hard, and, you know, I know how hard she worked. You know, the hours that went into planning and talking and socializing.
always knew that we weren't going to make it to the end together. It just, you know, being a couple, it was, had a target on our back for quite some time now. Oh, but so close. We were so close.
You know, I filmed my confessional right before it, and like my hand was already shaking. My hand is still shaking. That's just, yeah, that's just how it is. But life isn't all bad. I know that going into today, it was either me or Laura on the chopping block. Jenny has the idol, Audrey has the idol, and Rob has immunity, or had, because, of course, his downfall was gloating.
At the last immunity challenge, we had to balance a deck of cards on the back of a spoon, and so it came down to me and Rob, and so Rob did outlast me, but today he did a very interesting move that I still don't really understand, but he posted a picture of his cards from the last immunity challenge, and they were clearly doctored, and he basically said, if you wet the sides of the cards, like, they stick together better, haha.
He decided that he needed to send us a picture that said, oh yeah, it helps if your cards are wet to stick together. And of course, in his arrogance, he didn't realize that maybe that would be against the rules, and probably shouldn't send that to everyone, including the Jeff's probes.
Because of this, he has to redo the challenge tonight before Tribal. If he is able to beat Jenny's time, then he continues to have immunity. If he doesn't, then Jenny gets immunity.
He decided not to. He just like declined. He was like, you know, I don't think I cheated. I like really outwitted everyone by doing this masterful move, and you know, if the Jeffs are gonna rule against my win, I will concede the immunity to Jenny. And so that really peeved me, because the way he said it made it sound like I was only winning by default.
I might be biased, but if I had it my way, I think Rob's immunity should be disqualified and it should go to Jenny. But I'm not a Jeff, I'm just an Audrey. But, so that's what I'm kind of hoping for, so we can just get him out, because I know he's gonna find a way to cheat somehow in this next one too. That's what he does.
I might potentially have the individual immunity necklace and the hidden immunity idol. And so that would be a very interesting case, because I didn't want my idol to go to waste. Like, I've been holding on to it for so long, like, I don't want to just take it home as a souvenir. And so I thought of like two potential options that I could do if this was indeed the case. First, I could play the idol for Rob. The only thing that was kind of holding me back was kind of the social repercussions, especially from my alliance. So like, while on one hand could be strategic, like gold, versus could it be social suicide? If I gave the immunity necklace back to Rob, then, you know, it would accomplish the same thing. And I could play it off as like, I don't want like a pity win. If I'm gonna win immunity, I want to be 100% like the undisputed winner.
Welcome back to Tribal Council. As you all know, we have a matter that we have to attend to before we get started. We came to realize over the course of the last couple days that Rob, we've determined, had cheated in the challenge on Tuesday by wetting his cards and thereby making them more adhesive and less likely to slip off of each other. And as a result, we are going to ask Rob to redo the challenge this evening, and only Rob. We're going to ask him to try to beat Jenny's time, which was 2 minutes, 44 seconds, with a clean deck, a dry deck. And if he can do that, he will keep his individual immunity. If not, it will go to Jenny. Rob, I spoke to you before we got started here, and you've asked to say something, so I'll give you that platform to say it now.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. To the jury, to the other players, I openly shared that I wetted my cards because, in my opinion, and I stand firm by this, this was not cheating. This was a tactical move. This was a strategic move that I was able to do because I deciphered the clue going into the challenge, putting together the spoons and the cards. I purposely flattened out the back of my spoon beforehand. And as you will notice in the video replay, when I lifted my cards, I flung them back behind my head, bent over where I had a plate with a wet paper towel waiting underneath my desk. I then spun around and I did wet the edges of my cards because I knew that in this challenge, if I had the wet cards, it would give me a strategic advantage. In Survivor, one of the key pillars of this game is to outwit your opponents. I did just that. They were upset. They hate that I'm here. Their frowns and rolling eyes are a clear indication of that. And so, because they couldn't get me out of the game the easy way, they've now chosen to go outside the bounds and make complaints to overturn my amazing strategic win. Yes, I had an advantage, but I did outlast. So I will willingly give up. Wait, hold on. Oh dear. Oh, it's you know what? Forget about it. I will step down. I will respect the ruling given by the producers, and I will concede my victory to Jenny.
You are giving up that opportunity. You are conceding the immunity to Jenny. Are you sure you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that being said, Jenny now has immunity, and we will now go straight into tribal council. And I will welcome in the members of our jury. Claire, Sammy, Eric, Ashley, Krista, Julie, Phil, and Levi voted out at the last tribal council. The question I want to start with, and I guess, Rob, what better place to start with this question than you, is where do you draw that line between a strategic advantage that is just a cunning interpretation of the challenge, or frankly, taking something that is outside the spirit of what the challenge is supposed to be and using it to your advantage in that sense? Where is that line for you?
Well, I think it should come to no surprise that for me, you go as far as you can until you're told that it's specifically outside the rule book. And this is a game with all sorts of creativity. These challenges, whether it be for immunity, whether it be for idle hunts, there are many ways to complete these challenges. So, in my opinion, go as far as you can, do whatever you can to give yourself whatever advantage possible to defeat the competition.
Okay, so as a former player, I can respect that competitive edge. I understand that you are always looking for a way to get ahead. But also, I didn't tell you that you couldn't put tape on the bottom of your spoon. I didn't tell you that you couldn't glue the cards together. I didn't tell you, like, there's a million, I shouldn't have to walk through every single thing that you can't do. And if I don't explicitly list it out, it's fair game. So I'm going to throw this same question to Trevor. Do you feel, where is that line for you?
Jeff, thank you for having this discussion in the first place, because there is a lot of gray area here, but it's not all gray. And I think Rob knows that. I think the jury knows that too. There's a difference between, wanting a fair contest and, getting an edge, and then there's cheating. And what we've seen here is, quite frankly, it's a turn of events. Rob not choosing to even participate again is kind of a surprise to me. I think that if he were to do that, it would be admitting that what he did was wrong. So I see now why he chooses not to.
Jenny, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask Rob, like, if that was, so strategic of you, why aren't you, like, redoing the challenge? Like, why aren't you proving to us that, like, you could have beat me? I'm not asking you to concede immunity to me, because if I win it, I want to win it fair and square. So why aren't you redoing the challenge?
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I think it cheapens your win. I think that everybody knows who the real winner was here, and everybody wants me to lose. I'll give the people what they want. Here, I lost. You win. Good job.
Audrey, where do you fall on this?
So going back to how not everything needs to be like explicitly written out, when you're altering the exact physics of the game, to me, that's cheating. I love cleverness and emergent game theory, but when you wet cards, it's more likely to stick on the spoon. The cards are more likely to stick together. That's breaking the physics of the game, where if one card falls off, all of them do. And then if it was him being clever, then why did he feel like he had to hide it? I think that's also an issue with me. Why did he have to go through the whole charade of, oh, I had the paper towel down here where you couldn't see me? Like, why did he have to do all of that if he was just being clever?
Yeah, I'll answer that. It's so that you guys didn't also wet your cards, so that I would have the strategic advantage. It was out in the open. I literally posted in the Bacall group, or sorry, not Bacall, sorry, the Birdfax group, a picture of the plate with the wet cards for all to see. And then the uproar happened. So if I truly believed that it was cheating, would I have revealed to everybody else what I had done? I was making a point that I believed I made a strategic play to outwit you in a challenge for a big win. Had I not done that, I probably would be here with immunity. But I chose to show you. I wanted you to know.
Okay, well, hold it. Let
wanted
Rob
you to know.
finish. Let Rob finish.
I mean, I wanted you to know. Why else would I post that?
So, Laura, I want to get your take on this, and then I want to move us on to the fun part of this game again. I don't want us to like linger on this. Laura, how do you feel about how this whole thing played out here?
I mean, I thought it was kind of funny. Obviously, I don't think that what he did was kosher with the game. Just going back to when we first had our first challenge with the flip cup, and Bacall, I think actually Rob, giving you credit, you were like, oh, it's actually easier if the table's wet when you do flip cup, and you and Shannon, sorry, the GIFs immediately made a comment like, oh, well, because you guys are talking about that, we're going to give the advantage to the other team as well.
Yeah, so, it's no secret that I've done this through and through. And in that discussion that we had, both you, Laura, and Audrey agreed that wetting the table to give us the edge in the Flip Cup Challenge was a good, strong strategic move. And it's interesting to see the hypocrisy here. Now that you're on the losing end of it, you're coming for my head. I think that says a lot.
I didn't come for your head. I didn't make any complaints. That wasn't me.
So here's what's going to happen here. This is like a very gray area thing. When we told the jury that this was happening, they had a range of opinions as well. But I want us to like push forward and get back to the reason we're doing this, which is to have fun. We're playing online Survivor. So like it or not, like here's where we're at. Jenny has individual immunity. Rob does not. Laura and Trevor are still married and are still in the game together. Audrey has revealed at the previous tribal council that she has an idol that I can only assume she will be playing tonight. Where are we right now? Oh, that's a beautiful idol. Production did a great job with that. Trevor, where does this vote stand right now? Obviously, you didn't know that this was going to play out as it has, but where is this vote now for you, knowing that Rob's not immune anymore?
Going into this, I had made my peace with whatever way the vote would turn out. And making it to the last 5, that's not so bad. I can take that home. I can be proud. But I think because of the way that things have shaken out, unfortunately, I get the sense that just from how he conveys himself, Rob is made himself out to be the bad guy. Maybe in an effort to be the underdog, maybe, because that's what he's been doing the whole time and it's follow through. But without that immunity for Rob, I think I feel a little bit better going into this.
Did you think it was you tonight coming in?
Jeff, I almost knew that it was me. It would actually come down to, I think, either myself or Laura. And as everyone now knows, we are indeed married. And yes, we've been working together. Can you blame us? But, you know, because of this, I don't know that it has to end tonight.
Laura, how do you feel? You were, in theory, one of the other people who would have been, I mean, you still are, a vulnerable player tonight, and how does Rob not having immunity change the math for you, do you think?
Like Trevor said, yes, we've been working together, but we haven't been working together alone. I really think that we've created strong bonds with some of the remaining players, and regardless of the outcome tonight, I agree with Trevor. You know, coming in, I did not think that I was going to be able to make it this far. So regardless of what happens tonight, I'm happy with, you know, where I've gotten to it at the very least.
Rob, do you think there's hope for you? Do you think there's actually a chance you might survive this vote? You've certainly, in theory, rubbed a few people the wrong way with not just with what's happened, but over the course of the season. Do you think there is a case to actually still keep you in the game?
I mean, at this stage in the game, make a strategic move. I'm clearly the bad guy here. If you take me out and you're leaving Trevor, I mean, good job, I guess. You got me out. But Jenny, you yourself said, I'm a Chihuahua. I'm all bark and no bite. That I can't win. I have no hope. So if you're playing this game to win, why would you take out a person right now who doesn't have the votes? I'm clearly a goat here, and let somebody else who's got a great resume slide on through.
Audrey, I want to talk to you about that. Last Tribal, there was a conversation about goats and how the perception, at least in Tribal, is that there are no goats in this group. Do you think that's actually true, though? There have to be people here that you think you have a better chance of beating than others.
I mean, yeah, there is. But I think the point is where Rob has the underdog story. I mean, there's definitely some people in the jury that don't like him. There's definitely some people in the jury where I can see them nodding their head yes to everything Rob says. And to me, that's scarier.
Who thinks, among the five of you, that the jury has a positive perception of your game? Trevor, kind of half yes. None of you think the jury has a positive perception of your game. Okay. This is important because what the jury perceives of your game is everything at this point. Jenny, if you aren't sure that the jury perceives your game to be in a good place, why not entertain the thought of keeping someone like Rob, who you know for a fact has some enemies on the jury? That's just simple math.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think the jury has like a good or necessarily bad perception of my game. I think I've had to keep a lot of my game more under wraps just because of the position I was in coming into the merge. And so hopefully at this stage of the game, I'll be able to kind of talk more freely about my game. But I do think that out of everyone else, has had to play a more like under the radar game because, you know, frankly, like at the merge, I almost got voted out the first 3 tribals. And so I had to keep my game more close to like my hand than other people have. So I don't know how much of the game the jury knows about like how I've been playing, but I plan to, you know, give a full explanation if I make it to the final 3.
Who thinks the jury has a negative perception of their game? Rob, Laura. Rob, I think you're pretty self-explanatory. Let's go to Laura here. Why do you think the jury has a negative perception of your game?
Oh, I mean, because obviously I've had a hand in voting some of them off. So, I mean, and rightfully so. But that's the point of the game. You would have done it to me. I don't know. I also I'm learning as I go because I am not a Survivor fan. So, like, because of that, I honestly don't know how the jury is going to react.
We've had a very eventful tribal here. It is time to vote. When I call your name, direct message me the name of the player you want voted out of this tribe. Laura, you're up first.
Can you hold on for a sec, Jeff? Sorry. I just wanted to ask Rob a question before we voted.
Go ahead.
Do you have something to say?
Jenny, I wasn't going to beat you in the challenge. If that's what you're getting at, yeah, no, absolutely not. I didn't believe I could do it, and I didn't want to make a fool of myself, let the cards fall off this spoon, and cripple my argument. So, yeah, nope. If that's what you're asking, then yes, I do believe that I wouldn't have won.
Okay.
I appreciate that. And so, Jeff, I just have one thing to say. I'm a very competitive person, and if I win, I want to win in a way that everyone agrees that I should have won. I don't want to win on a controversial issue. I don't want my win for immunity to be debated. So, Rob, you can have it back.
I've already gotten Laura's vote. If this was something you wanted to do, you should have done it sooner. I've already gotten Laura's vote. I can't allow the immunity to switch hands at this point. Jenny, you are still immune. Laura's vote has been cast. Rob, you are up. Okay, I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you would like to play it, this is your final opportunity to do so.
Yes. And Jenny, what are you doing?
I know people were, wondering where the original Goda idol was, and so I've had it since day 2. I know Rob told a lot of people that Trevor had it this whole time, and that was not true. I wanted to play my idol tonight too.
Great idol. So to be clear, Audrey, you are playing your idol for yourself, correct?
Jenny, what are you doing? Who are you playing it on?
You said it first.
Audrey, you have to declare first. You were the first person to speak up. Gotta pick.
Me. I play it on me.
Audrey's playing her idol for herself. Jenny, are you also Are you also playing your idol for yourself?
Why would I have to do that if I have immunity?
This is true. So, are you using your idol?
Yeah.
On who?
I'm using it for Rob.
All right. Per the rules of Survivor, anyone who has a hidden immunity idol and plays it will negate all votes cast against whoever that idol is used for. These are 2 hidden immunity idols. All votes cast for Audrey will not count. All votes cast for Rob will not count. I'll read the votes. First vote. Rob, does not count. Florida Rob, also does not count. Rob, does not count. That's 3 votes for Rob. None of them count. 2 votes left. Trevor. The 9th person voted out of Survivor fans versus favorites, and the 9th member of our jury. Trevor, that is enough. You need to bring me your torch, extinguish it, and turn off your video camera. Trevor, the tribe has spoken. After I need a minute after how that all played out. We now have our final 4. And from this point on, the game changes. You're not playing for individual immunity. You're playing for your chance to sit at the final 3 and plead your case to the jury. We'll see how it shakes out. Grab your torches, head back to camp. Good night.
Well, tonight sucked, but way more than I thought it would. Being voted out always sucks. Making it to the final 5 was great and all, and I was right back here saying that I had already made my peace with all of this, but Not like this, man. Not like this. Like, Jenny did me dirty. If she played a straight up game the whole time, like, she still would have gone to the end, maybe, you know, like, most likely. If it had just been like the newbies left, all 4 newbies, and Rob was gone. Like, if it had been a straight up game. But the fact of the matter is that, like, she did this, it was some theatrics, and, you know, on this side of the jury, it's like, okay, I get it, you're here to impress. I never even felt like I was that much of a threat. I think Rob did a good job painting me as one. He put the target on my back. I actually have to give Audrey recognition because she played a straight up game. And she did do enough in playing that game to, I think, take this whole thing away. I think Audrey and Laura are still in this and playing an honest game. Well, honest, you know, as far as betraying people, but actually having a real allegiance, one real allegiance, you know. Is that more admirable? Not how I wanted to go out.